Hey everybody, Nick here. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well, as humanly possible. Today's video is going to be a video request, and the topic requested was talk about how life gets worse as you get older. And there's quite a few things to talk about on that. I did do a video months ago talking about old age, and I touched on a few of those things, but not every single thing that I'm going to talk about today. So you younger, no issues, right? Life seems to be better. Your body reacts to you as you're younger. You start getting into your 40s, back problems. Back problems is one of the most common things that starts happening. So one of the most common things that happens as you get older is your body is deteriorating. Your body, even if you take care of it, no matter what you do, it's going to deteriorate. You can do exercise, which is important. I mean, you want to keep physically active. You want to try and not eat crap. You want to try to eat healthy as possible. But even that is no guarantee. But from what I've understood, and even me reaching my late 30s, early 40s, I started having some back problems. I played sports and yada yada. I was pretty active. So you never know when this stuff's going to hit you. Another thing that happens when you're hitting around 40, you gotta go check your prostate. Now, I don't know if this is something because cancer is so, abundant now, or just so commonplace in today's society that's why they started to do that. But that has to do with like crappy food and the chemicals in our foods. So I don't think that this was a normal thing way back. This must be a new thing. I personally will not get it done. I don't care. Whatever. I try to eat as healthy as possible. But they always say you want to prevent it. So that's one thing that's going to happen when how life gets worse. You got to get the old finger treatment. And that isn't something that's very pleasant, I'm sure. I've heard also at 50, I don't know what the exact age is. I really don't. Let's say you had a family. You had a few kids. You're getting older. They become teenagers. Of course, every situation is different. They're likely not going to want to hang out with dad as much, okay? You're going to be just basically transparent to these kids in a lot of ways. So family life is going to change quite a bit for a lot of people as they get older. I mean, that might be a good thing where you don't have to deal with the kids. Some people might like that. Maybe they don't want to have to deal with that. But for those who love their kids and whatever, it might be very difficult for them to accept the fact that the kids have grown up and they don't really want much to do with the old man. Same with the wife. There's no guarantees that your wife is going to love you forever. I mean, I could do a video talking about love and that whole other thing, but let's use the contemporary definition of love. And you may get to a point where she leaves you and you're already in your 50s or whatever. How easy is it going to be to go back into the dating game? Not very. I really don't think it's going to be that easy. Again, some guys might want that. Maybe their wife nags the hell out of them. Maybe their wife has been unfaithful. I don't know. I mean, maybe they just don't get along anymore. Things happen. A lot of things change, and that's a very constant thing as you get older, is change. There's nothing you can do about it. So she might leave you. Getting back into the dating game is going to be, I mean, if you even want to do that, because maybe you just want to be on your own. A lot of health problems might start coming around. Maybe you're not eating as healthy, so you're getting the old diabetes. Maybe you were a smoker, lung cancer comes around. There's all kinds of problems associated with getting older in life. You lose family, like I mentioned. Maybe you have friends starting to die around you. That's kind of bummer, especially if it's someone you're close to. You're likely going to lose your parents in your 40s or 50s. The job you worked at for so many years, probably that you liked, that you got paid well, lays you off. How the hell are you going to find another job at like 55 or 60 years of age? So close to retirement, another thing that's pretty crappy about life when you get older, you're retired, you don't have much to do. What are you going to do? What if you don't even have good health and you like to travel and you have some money? You can't do that either. And that's why I have a lot of issues with the whole retiring at 65, work your whole life, and then nothing is guaranteed at the end, right? So getting older, there's a lot of things that changes. You're not as energetic. You're probably likely going to be more miserable, not as happy as before, because you see how the world is really. And some people discover that late in life. They realize how troublesome this world is and how unjust the world is. A lot of people don't realize it, and I touched on this in many videos. A lot of people don't realize it because they are too busy working, too busy raising the family, too busy trying to have as much fun as possible. And you don't want to interfere into your, ruin your, how would I say, your common way of thinking, your rational world, which you thought you understood and you don't. So there's a lot of problems as you get older. Life starts getting worse. What if you get a debilitating disease? What if you need someone to take care of you as you get even older? And I'm talking about like the third trimester of life, or the third age of life, whatever you call it. You need someone to put you around in a wheelchair. You got to pay for somebody to do that, or you got to have a family member do that. Then you become a burden on a lot of people, which is really sad. I mean, a lot of people don't even want to get old. No one wants to get old because there's a lot of problems associated with it. So if you're someone who's young, I say to you, try to enjoy being young while you can, because eventually all of us are going to get old. We're going to encounter way more problems, and it's just, life doesn't get any better. It's already shit. I mean, for everybody. But getting older is just one more difficulty on the path to dying in this life. I would say the biggest issues of getting older, which makes life worse, is health, essentially. A lot of old people start losing their memory. You just don't have the same endurance and energy as used to, as I mentioned about energy. Other things that also start to suck about life is just the repetitiveness. I think that's what started hitting me at this age. I felt the repetitiveness and the fact that life is not, you lose the newness and the shininess of life, I guess is the best way to put it. Think about it this way as well. The advancements in technology as you're getting older, trying to keep up with stuff that's going on. And as the world keeps, moving faster and faster and becomes more globalized and industrialized and highly advanced technologies, as you're getting older, you just don't have the ability to, some people do, there's always an exception, but a lot of people, as they get really old, they just can't be bothered with technology. I know, like, I had a grandmother trying to use the smartphone and all that stuff, and she just would get frustrated with having to use it. And I would show her, I would write it down just to use the simplest things, to call on like a video call and stuff like that, but she would forget. And I guess in your 90s you can't really blame her and other people like her. So the advancements in technology will leave a lot of elderly people behind. Elderly people are losing more and more respect from the younger crowd these days. At least I've noticed it in all the countries I've been to, but mainly like Canada is a really bad one, and even here in Brazil where I live, the youth do not respect the seniors as much as before. I would say in previous generations. I don't know what's going on there. There's got to be a lot of reasons as to why that is. And if only those stupid youth would just realize that one day that could be them. And really, that's all you have to think about. You just would like to have somebody to respect someone to respect you, and you don't have to go the extra mile, but I mean, just, I don't know. I guess respect is earned, but I mean, if you're an old person and you just need a little bit of help or something, why not help? Because you're going to be there. You're going to need the help too one day. So really, I think there's a lot of downs. I mean, getting older, life really does start getting really shittier. It's just, that's the way it is. I mean, yeah, health problems, people start going away. You just, I don't know. When you're younger, you just have less same other problems, but still have problems. You have less complicated problems, I guess, because if you have your health, you're capable of taking care of yourself. And that's another thing. You get older, what if you need someone to take care of you and you don't have the funds or you don't have the means? And what I'm seeing these days is government services going more and more the way of the dodo, just utter lack of respect for senior citizens who paid into the system for so many years. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't even imagine yet. I've only ever seen it firsthand with grandparents, and the inevitable thing is we're all going to get there. We don't know what the future brings or what the future will bring to us should we get to that age. I mean, me personally, I don't know that I want to get past 65, 70. It all really depends. If I have good health and my memory is there, can you imagine and that's one of the things, Alzheimer's is very common. I mean, my grandfather had Alzheimer's, and that's a very sad disease that basically robs a person of their dignity because they can't remember who they are. They end up pissing themselves half the time because they don't have the controls of their own faculties. Like, you tell me, what are the good things about getting old? If you've got your health, and that's what I always say to people, health is wealth. Even in this shithole world that we live, even though this world is loaded with suffering and pain, if you're able to have good health, you will avoid so much suffering and pain. You're still going to encounter, because the world isn't quite an ugly place with a lot of demonic ridden people, unfortunately, and those who are running the world, the powers that shouldn't be, as I like to call them. But if you're able to avoid pains and sickness and things like that, if you can take care of yourself, sure, there's no guarantees, you will avoid like 50% or more of the pain and suffering that a lot of people go through these days. I mean, I know some senior citizens that are highly medicated. One guy even has a colostomy bag, and how terrible would that be to have to deal with that shit? So yes, life does get worse as you get older. What if you have to go to a home too, like a senior's residence or whatever? You got to deal with all these other seniors with problems and things like that. I think people who are very independent and then they get older and lose that independence is one of the worst things that could happen to you, and destroys their life. So I don't think I have any more to say about how life gets worse as you get older, but I'm sure you guys can come up with some stuff. Let me know in the comments what you think, and if you want to tell me your age and what problems you encounter, more than happy to do that. And thanks for watching, everybody, as always, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.